Best boy,
Adolin.
Adolin.
Kholin.
He's great. We're not.
Monarchy with a great monarch, awesome.
Yeah.
Monarchy with a subpar monarch,
Failure. Doesn't do so well.
not great. Fun for stories. Welcome everyone to the Tutor Round podcast episode. My name is Richard.
My name is Austin.
And today we're doing part 2, tier listing Stormlight characters.
Yes. Books 1 through 4 spoilers. We had a part 1 where we ended off talking about Kaladin Stormblessed.
The best boy. Second best boy of Stormlight Archive.
You could see our 5 stars that we have so far are Kaladin, Syl, and Elokar, with Hoy, Tervanji, Navani, and Rock so close at 4.5. Yeah. And we already talked about Lirin, so we don't need to have another 10-minute aside.
If you want to hear us basically rant at how bad Lirin is for about 15 minutes, go ahead, watch our part 1. Somewhere up down below.
It'll be
somewhere. It'll be easy to find.
It was just posted. Check it out from the last episode. Because this episode, we're going into more Stormlight. Let's just start off. If they watch part 1, we're continuing.
They know what they're talking.
We're continuing with Stormlight characters. You ready?
Yep.
Next character we have is Shallan.
My least favorite character in book 1, arguably my favorite in book 2, and continues to be a very good character going forward. With, as of now, a kind of disappointing character arc in book 4.
How do you judge a character
it's
like
weird.
That with so many peaks
I
and
have
valleys?
So many ups and downs.
How do you judge her?
God, ultimately, I'm sitting at like a 4. Like, I think she's great.
I'm so with you.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you because there's enough moments where she shines, and you're just like, she's really coming together. And her multiple personality, and again, Sanderson having his main characters deal with just these mental struggles, and then she has this incredible moments. And then it's juxtaposed with a little bit of lack of interest. For Way of Kings, book 1, she was at her worst because didn't understand a lot about her character. It doesn't help when she didn't have an interesting plot.
She felt like the vehicle for world building, not a character.
Which is definitely solved by book 2. Book 2 and onward, she is
book 1, it's like, sassy woman.
Trying to help her
that's all. Like, she's helping her family, and she's witty. She's got jokes. That was about it that I got from her character. It also kind of hurt of, Kaladin, the slave, trying to overcome all this stuff, and then go back to Shallan going, hey, I'm having a hard time here in the city. Rough juxtaposition.
Los Angeles isn't the city of dreams. What do you know?
What do you know?
So it's just that little bit of, also the fact that Kaladin and Dalinar in all of book 1, it's just you wanted to stay with Cal and Dalinar, and all of the stuff happened in Shattered Plains. Whereas then book 2 happens, and she comes into the main plot.
And her backstories being some of the best flashbacks of the entire series.
Oh, God. With her finding out that reveal at the end of book 2 with her father, floored me.
Oh, yeah. It also gives so much to her character of how can she stay so positive she's clearly had the worst traumatic childhood out of all of these main characters.
Maybe that's part of it, too, because book 1, she seemed, I'm not going to spoil Empire of Silence, but Empire of Silence, book 1, character can seem more whiny. That's it. I'll leave it at that. But book 1 for Shallan in Stormlight Archive, she can seem like she doesn't deserve her character growth. She doesn't deserve her complaints because you're like, Kaladin's a slave. Get over it. And so then we find out from book 2 already, we find out, she has just as much trauma that's just as deserving to root for her as Cal. Not that you need to have trauma to root for you, but it helps.
Well, it helps when all the other characters you're learning about their great sufferings, and then the other character doesn't seem to be suffering as much. And so that's just the focus of interest.
And even Dalinar book 1, although he's in this high position, his brother's dead.
His brother's dead. We know we already get his wife. He doesn't remember the fall of grace from where he is.
He's struggling with, does he take over for Elokar, who's an incompetent king? It's compelling, and there's struggle there. And hey, is he losing his wits? Adolin's concerned all book 1 about, is Dalinar not the father that not that he's concerned. No, I said that incorrectly, but he is.
He does know he's the father.
Yeah, not that he's the father. Is he the father he once was?
Yes,
and
yes.
also struggling with the fact is Dalinar is he still that?
Is he still
the
Blackthorn?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So all of that is it's so interesting. But then with Shallan, she's witty and she's fun, and there's stuff going on with her family that we just don't get enough of.
Yeah, but then
Book two,
that's her book. She's great. Fantastic in that. I love how independent she is in that book of the rest of the plot's going on. She's like, I got my own stuff going on. I'm going to figure out this mystery. She's doing her thing.
Be me.
I'm going to be me. I'm going to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go, man, she's been kind of divorced from most of the plot. And then she comes out of left field like, guess what, guys? I figured out Irithiru. I know where it is. I figured it out, guys. And she solves the problem at the end. Ultimately saves the day. Great stuff.
Listen, if
if
Adolin can choose Shallan, we can choose Shallan. He has good taste, so we should also.
We have to choose. We have to trust Best Boy.
Yes, and for that, so you were about to go into something. Was it going to be book 4 stuff and seeing
the reason why we're talking all these good stuff?
Yeah,
I think how Sanderson handled the multiple personality problem with Shallan was handled.
Meaning Val and what was Radiance. Yes.
Yeah. And then, of course, Unformed or something, Formless.
Yep.
It felt like in one chapter, Shallan went the valley.
Dark Night of the Soul.
Dark Night of the Soul.
All is lost, and then
in the same chapter, it felt so rushed and so sudden. Of okay, I guess she's fine. Like, oh no, it's the worst it's ever been, and she's fine now. Like that.
Agreed. Yeah.
So. Great, I guess.
Great character.
Great
has
character.
her moments where she's not it's maybe too quick, whereas book 4 was too quick with her arc. Book 1, there wasn't enough reason to follow her arc. So I would say, 4-star character, great. Mm-hmm. But do we go above, below Sadeas or Boniel?
Top of 4.
Top of 4. She's a main point of view.
Main point of view. Yeah.
Let's do that. All right. Shallan, 4-star.
I love that Rock is technically above Shallan.
Oh, as he should. Now, our next character, Rich, Adolin.
Top of 5.
And our next character is Eshonai. Okay, Adolin, 5-star. I also agree. Of our 5 stars, we have Elokar, Syl, Kaladin, Adolin. Now, if it were up to me, Elokar would be above Kaladin. That's how much I love his redemption.
I'm glad
arc.
it's not up to you.
But Elokar would definitely be above Syl, but they're all 5 stars. When it comes to Adolin, I agree with you, even above Cal.
I love him so much.
What is it about Adolin? What's the moment?
We keep joking, and it's not a joke.
No.
He's Best Boy. There is if to people who don't consume the Eastern media, there's a phrase in the anime community of like best girl. That's a thing.
I didn't know that.
It's fine. There's also Best Boy, but anyway.
Okay.
An animes come out in the year. There's a bunch of female characters, and they go like, which is best girl? It's like, which is the most heartwarming, the best character that year?
Like your dog, or little dog. When you're talking about like best boy, like little Charlie.
Can also be adult, but like the main thing is like best girl, and like when you're lovable, love this character, want them to be real because they're just so endearing.
Got it.
That's kind of the idea behind it. Adolin is best boy. He's the bestest. He's dog that became man. He's your best dog friend, but humanified.
The scene for us
in not a furry way. Don't get it twisted. None of that.
But you're kind of into that stuff.
Don't you fucking dare.
No, I actually
don't you fucking dare.
Off camera, literally there's a closet right there. I see you all the time.
You don't want to bring down the shitstorm that's coming on you. I want none of that.
I promise.
I want none of that in the comments. You better not send us anything.
You're asking for it at that point. Just drop the subject. Drop it.
I'm just saying.
Let's move on.
I have a great detest for most of the furry community. It disgusts me. That's fine. If you're a part of it,
that's not what he says behind closed doors. Okay, so the next
Oh, you're ready for some shit.
by the end of this episode, like you're gonna start saying some crazy things about my backstory.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is that really gets you going too is when you add in just enough truth with the lie. It's like I could say 3 things.
You understand? I have like not just a mix of truth and lie. I have one in the back pocket of truth that makes you just look so fucking weird.
Shit! Oh no!
You understand? Like, and you know it too.
Which one?
It's something that you don't think is weird, yet everyone that meets you thinks it's really weird.
There's a lot like that, Rich.
I know.
There's a lot. It'll come up. It'll come up.
Don't test me. Don't test me.
How about we do that in a game of 2 truths and a lie and can kind of obscure.
No, remember that video show? Like, hey, isn't this girl attractive? And you're like, we said something, and you go, what?
Wait, clarify. This is long before I met my girlfriend.
True.
This is 3 years ago. I love you, babe.
I'm surprised she doesn't have this other significant.
Oh, I love that about people. I think that's I will put that on the internet.
Yeah, he has a thing for lazy eyes.
No, that's not it. But here's the thing. I find it so endearing if someone has a speech impediment. A stutter / lisp / any type of speech impediment is just so endearing to me.
There's nothing wrong with the speech impediment. It's weird your fixation on it. That's the weird part. It's not like hey, speech impediment shouldn't be a negative track. It shouldn't be a negative factor.
I think it's positive.
It's your intensity behind how positive you think it.
I will do a PR campaign for speech impediments. I'm here. You know what makes it great too? Especially when someone has a speech impediment and goes...
No, there's being pro, what is, like, ableist, whatever phrase, term.
Yeah. Well,
ableism.
So...
Whatever. Like, supporting people with speech impediment, that's one thing. It's another of, like, fetishizing it. That's weird. It's weird. It's a little gross.
Here's the thing. Well, no. But when I was in off the Stormlight thing for a second. When I was in high school, my high school crush had a speech impediment. So I was like, oh my God. And when she would go up and do class presentations and stuff, I was always like rooting for her and going like, oh yeah, go you. And to me, and her having a speech impediment, I thought it was like so cool that doing, man, I love them. I don't know about you, but it's cool to me.
And every girl said, like, hey, isn't this girl attractive? It's like going, yeah, the speech impediment.
It was one video, and she was very attractive before I met the love of my life, but she was back in the day.
I can't believe telling your girlfriend going like, hey, if you ever want to excite Austin, start talking with a
my name's Mike Tyson. My name's Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
So that's fair. That's fair. And you know what? I don't feel bad about the furry thing anymore. So you can be the furry guy. I'll be the speech impediment guy.
No, these are not equal.
One's a lie. Listen, just because you like furries doesn't mean that I can be like I like people with. I think they're better people than us regular folk. That's all. And you think furries are better than us, and that's totally fine. If you want to meet in the middle.
No.
Who are we talking about? We're talking about. We're talking about. What were we talking about? Oh, best boy,
Adolin Kholin.
He's great. We're not.
He's great. We're not. He's not a furry. I'm not a furry. That's what makes him great.
Actually,
another thing now know I'm pushing so hard against everyone's like pushing real hard.
Yeah, you're really trying. Yeah.
There's no winning.
Actually, that's a way to get me to automatically love a character in a movie or like Pan's Labyrinth has a stuttering character in there, and I'm like instantly love the guy. I'm like, he's my guy. And if you add a stutter to a character in dialogue, I'm like, oh yeah, that's it right there. So Adolin, despite not having a stutter, he's the best boy.
We could write that in. You could edit the book. Just take a little Sharpie and
just add something. Right?
Add a little something.
Yeah. Well, so Adolin, I don't think we talked about substance of Adolin. We kind of just said he's best boy. Can we just agree on the scene itself that just makes him the best? Is when
he goes into the prison.
The duel happens, and then Cal's in prison, comes out, figures out, oh wait, Adolin was also there. Going to prison in a more luxurious prison, but still,
yes,
he tried his best, and that's why he's the best.
He's the best
because he tries his best, and he always
tries his best. He's just has a friendly personality. Everyone around him is happier with him being there. That's why he's the best. The reason why he just has that dog energy
Yeah.
of like, he's your best friend, like always smiling, happy that you came home.
Yeah.
That's the energy you get from him.
Yeah, he's also that character that he doesn't replace Cal because he's not your hero. He very much could be that Prince Charming, have all the powers, but he doesn't. He's your Sokka, but not a comedic Sokka. He's your Sokka who's just very endearing. The not comic relief character, but just to always rely on, doesn't need anything more than he has. He's never jealous of others. He can sit there, have Maya as a spren. He doesn't have a spren come to him. He doesn't have, and a lot of it's probably because he has Maya there. But he doesn't have the powers, and that makes him even better character. Because if by book 3, 4, he's gaining powers, it's like, oh, you already have other characters like that. Kaladin fills that role. You don't need another superhero. And Adolin just is...
He's perfect support.
So 5-star, best character so far, before we go into... this character won't break it, but Eshonai. Eshonai shouldn't have died, first off. Eshonai
should not have died.
So much better than Venli.
Now, Venli would agree with us.
Yes.
Yes, that is sad,
yeah.
Arguably the point of the book.
Yeah.
It sucks when Venli is in book 4 talk about, I should have been the one that died, not my sister. And I'm going like, true.
You got a good point.
You got a good point, Venli.
Yeah.
I do wish Eshonai was
Venli. Venli was saying about Eshonai. Yes.
Yeah. No, like Eshonai has like Venli has this guilt over her sister's death and wish it was her and not her sister that died. And it's like, yeah, I agree. Character.
Yeah.
You're not that great.
But Eshonai
was just so great. Her and Dalinar just had great chemistry of rivals, these just fearsome warriors together, but they had respect on the battlefield. And then her ending with the ending of book 4, we get that flashback of her with the Stormfather. Beautiful.
I think that puts her in great territory, 4-star.
We get so many flashbacks with her, especially showing how much of we thought she was this badass warrior, and she is, but more so, she's this adventurer, and all she wanted was to see the world.
Yeah.
And that war was forced upon her, and it just makes her that much more endearing of just this adventurous spirit of where she's gone and what she's seen. It's so enjoyable.
She also has that little backstory we see with the Parshendi, and what she's trying to make peace at a certain point. So she's trying to make peace, and obviously gets corrupted by the storm. But she is trying to make peace, and the lack of ability to get there, we know her intentions, but is cut short, reminds me a bit of Elokar with that redemption cut short. The Eshonai, if only she didn't die, what could have been?
If only she didn't die, we know she could be a very vital character for the rest of the group. That she would have bonded a spren by now.
Yeah,
she would have been a very integral, important character.
Would you put her above Raboniel?
Yeah, definitely above Raboniel.
What about above Sadeas in 4? I think below Sadeas, above Raboniel is a fair spot.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
I think so.
4-star Eshonai, great character.
Great character.
Next we got is I will put him there, and then you force me otherwise because you will have to over my dead body.
I agree.
Yeah, Dalinar, Kholin, 5-star.
My favorite character in Stormlight.
Yeah, one of my favorite characters ever of all time, Dalinar Kholin. Even before the book 3 Simps came out here, which is us. Book 3 is my favorite book. I love Oathbringer. Yeah. Even before it got to book 3, book 1 with Kaladin as the main point of view,
Dalinar had the most banger lines.
He was my favorite character in book 1.
Yeah.
Even with Cal being perfect. Dalinar's the next level of perfect. Immaculate conception. He, to me, in book 1, that introduction you get of there's mystery with his backstory, but the moments you're talking about of him, even when it's kicking his, he
has the best lines of the Way of Kings. Him putting trading to Sadeas.
Yeah.
His shard blade for the bridge runners is him telling Cal like how much is one life worth. It's priceless. Well, Gavin, I traded one priceless sword for the price of how many thousand men?
Priceless. How many? 4,000
priceless lives.
Yeah.
I call that a bargain.
Yeah,
yeah,
Dalinar.
yeah, Dalinar. It's so good, and just how much that's hyped up of how like a shard blade could buy a small country, and he gives it up for them. Final one also just confirming to Kaladin of, hey, there are good light eyes, and he's what every noble should aspire to be, and it's gives me faith in monarchy. Makes me look down. It gives me more confidence to say democracy is cringe. If you want to go buy a democracy is cringe shirt, buy our merch. It's neat. We put money into artists' hands to make it for us. Bookmarks are cool too. Actually good quality. We bought inventory. Yay. Sorry. It actually mentioning that we have merch
as we did in part 1,
actually sells things rather than us just never talking about it and then of course not getting sales. So that's what you get from me.
Dalinar does make you believe in monarchy in a way because
that's why it's my favorite character.
If you have a good monarch, it can be successful.
Oh, monarchy with a great monarch, awesome.
Yeah.
Monarchy with a subpar monarch,
failure. Doesn't do so well.
Not great. Fun for stories. Definitely exciting times.
Yes.
Not good times, but exciting times.
Fun to read about in a history class.
Exactly.
After the death and suffering.
I would much rather read a history book on a failed monarchy than the clusterfuck of bureaucracy we have with failed democracy.
I mean, how boring is that? Going like, there's people with equal viewpoints and they get to vote.
So boring.
My God.
Like, look, the people want a thing. And
why do you think fantasy stories aren't just democracies? They're always because it's not a good story.
Even if it's democracy, it's a completely outwardly corrupt democracy, not like our democracy.
It's an oligarchy. It's like
where our democracy is like corrupt, but it's like in the shadows, and it's all it's corrupt with little.
In books, it's clearly an aristocracy or an oligarchy, or it's clearly that when they say it. So books always go for the more fun story.
Yeah.
And Dalinar as a monarch, besides having that amazing moment, because that amazing moment for me with the Priceless Lives, because the Shard Blade was built up, but also with Dalinar's character in Book 1 of how it is built up whether he is sane or not, whether he is still the Blackthorn, whether he is he past his prime. And he
definitely the most badass fights too.
He proves us all he's not past his prime completely. He is now, he is still there. And he also has... We're not even talking about his book, the book that he is the main point of view, Oathbringer, where we find out all about his past and how this reputation that was built up behind Evi Kholin and why people fear him and why other nations fear him and they can't even trust him because when he goes to Azure, or not Azure, like Thalen, or he goes to any of the Azure, is what I was looking for. He goes to these other places. They can't even come to the negotiating table at first. That's how menacing he was. And we see those flashbacks constantly of him going out during a storm and coming back. Complete menace. And how he was overtaken by this rage so much to kill his wife accidentally. But the rage blinded him so much that he killed his wife in the, not the chasm, but in that city that was...
invaded a city and basically burned it down. And
his wife was going there to negotiate because I think she went behind his back to try to stop the battle from happening. But he goes in there, and no other moment. So Sword of Kaigan's a book that made me so teary-eyed, cry my eyes out multiple times. So many hard cries in Sword of Kaigan and other books. But no moment has made me cry more than Dalinar. His redemption of where he's so close to failure and he's so close to giving in to odium. And I believed it too with all my heart. Like we are just shown how the perfect arc of where he's just getting in his backstory enough to where we understand his pain and how his pain could be so too much to bear. I care even more than Kaladin's pain at some points, where Dalinar's pain he goes through of killing his wife and that hopelessness and still overcoming and being what's the most important step that a man could take.
the next one.
It's the next one.
Ugh.
Come on, Dalinar.
You will not have my pain.
5 star.
Love it. Yeah, no.
5 star. S tier.
Also,
5 star.
I do want to say, it's not the same, but especially in book 1, a little bit of that secret badass. Not exactly secret badass, but
What would you say?
moments, because it's my favorite trope, is the
Yeah.
like retired old secret badass.
Yeah.
And everyone going like, Dalinar's lost a step. Ugh. Dalinar's past his prime. And then the Blackthorn comes out and he shows everyone that he's still on top. And it's like, that's great. I love it.
Is this a bit of our testosterone playing a role? Yes.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
if Dalinar was a furry, would you be even more testosterone filled? Yes, you would. But
I hate that you're going to start this.
okay, our very next character.
You could have said I was in defeat. That would have been preferable to
Actually,
this.
the AI from Dungeon Crawler Carl is.
I'll take that lie about myself rather than.
All right, next character we have is Venli. What do you think about Venli? I think we hinted at this. Of us
Do we have our first Lyran? I think this may be the Lyran tier.
Lyran's in Lyran tier.
No.
Oh, the
Lyran tier.
Lyran, seriously, you messed up tier is Lyran.
Yes.
And then above that is Lyran tier.
Yes.
Got it.
I think we have our first Lyran
Our first
tier.
actual 1-star Lyran tier.
Yes. I
You
think
know-
so. Because I didn't want her on page every time she was there.
I think it's even it's more.
There was not a single scene that I enjoyed from her. And every time I was going, how many more pages of this do we got?
I would say it's even more true because when you're that important of a character and when you have that much screen time, page time, you want to have more investment into them. So by saying if we're going Lyran tier, meaning awful character, even Brandon Sanderson, when he was talking to Murphy Napier on one of Murphy Napier's videos that she had where she had Sanderson come on, he was even saying how the flashbacks he messed up the most and that people agree on he messed up the most and having that point of view was Venli's. And he was saying that he definitely, this isn't a quote, he didn't say he missed the mark, but he was acknowledging that was the weakest of the flashbacks. So even Sanderson was saying, when you look at the Shallan flashbacks, Dalinar flashbacks, Kaladin flashbacks, Venli's were the least intriguing. But he also was saying, like, hey, this is why he did it. He wasn't saying it was bad. That's not what he was saying about his book. But he was saying it was the least well done. So Venli, I think why generally people dislike Venli is the more interesting character died, Eshonai. And Venli, getting this point of view from our main cast of Kaladin, Shallan, Dalinar, and then into a character that I didn't think deserved the point of view shift. Of all the characters we could have gotten more, Navani could have been one. I think next book, if we're getting Szeth in book 5, perfectly justified to get Szeth's point of view. But Venli, I get the reason
Also,
of wanting to get
plot-wise, it feels like she could be subbed out for many other characters. As a character herself, it's like I get it, but I'm also not interested in her anyway.
I mean,
her redemption.
Couldn't you see though Venli being a point of view character, but not the flashback character? I mean, at the very least,
could be.
At the very least, she could still have. You could still have all the moments that I think Sanderson wanted. Well, despite the Eshonai flashback, because the Eshonai flashback with Venli was great because of Eshonai, not because of Venli. But I think we digress into going, Venli either connected with you or didn't, and just totally missed the mark, which made Rhythm of War my least favorite Stormlight, despite it still being a really good book.
I was talking to my friend Bradley.
Yeah.
Venli was actually his favorite character from book 4.
What do you? I'm curious why.
He really connected with the redemption arc for her of how much that she failed her sister and wishing that she was dead in place of her sister and her overcoming this and all that. He liked her a lot.
That's great.
Also the world building aspect. He liked that side of it.
With the Parshendi and getting it. Yeah, that makes sense. I think what Venli does for the world is really good. Mm-hmm. And we get a lot more into the Parshendi.
That's the thing. I like it. I think a different character would have been better.
Yeah.
For that same... I like the world building stuff of it, but that could have been done with Rlain. Rlain?
Yeah, Rlain.
Rlain?
Rlain. Something like that.
Rlain.
Let's definitely go
Lyran tier.
Lyran tier.
I think our first Lyran tier.
This next character, Szeth, is going to be, without a doubt, the one that changes the most from because we've only read up to book 4. That's as far as we can right now because book 5 isn't out yet. But
Agreed.
when book 5 comes out, he has the potential to change the most because I think if we're correct, he's going to get the flashbacks in book 5, which will dramatically change our thoughts on Szeth.
Sure.
Because right now there's so much mystery.
I'll be honest, I kind of put him on a 2 myself.
Really?
For how important he is, I don't understand any of his motivations. And even if they explain it of just like, hey, it's part of his religion that he has this whole oath stone thing, I don't like it. I don't like it as a motivation. I don't think it gels. And so he just feels like a plot vehicle. He doesn't really feel like a character. I haven't and we've had 4 books of him. So that's about it. Like I don't have a lot more to say about him. We've had 4 books and I don't think he's changed much.
That's fair. You know what? I'll try to argue for 3-star.
Okay.
Reason being, for me, what he does as an antagonist before he started to change his arc a little bit was he was kind of that unstoppable force, the threat, and I think he presented a great threat as a character, which sure does go more into plot, but his background I think is mysterious enough to where the fact that he's going to be our book 5 flashback character, we think. I don't know if it's confirmed. I think it's confirmed. If it's him, great. So the fact that excites us to me goes like I think there's something there. Whereas there's not with someone like Venli. With Venli, going into her backstory was never interested to begin with. The fact that we are going to find out more about Szeth shows there was enough there to go, okay, enough was set up to make Szeth an interesting character to where we're going, okay, what are his
here's the thing.
And motivations?
I don't care. I don't care about his backstory.
You don't? I'm so curious.
I feel like I've been beaten into apathy about him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't care about his backstory.
So you want to go 2-star, I want to go 3. I mean, I'm not saying he's a great character, but I mean, come on, 3.
Well, just how much of like, what are we going to find out? I guess the context of, like, we kind of already know he takes oaths seriously, and his whole background is being truthless, and it's like, okay, that's it. Like, we're going to get more background of why, I guess.
Oh,
but I don't care.
Gonna make you eat your words there. When book 5 comes out, he's gonna.
I hope he does, but I feel like we've got 4 big books with him in them, and there's not much.
You're saying
his relationship to every other character is not that great. Like, not interesting. I don't care when he's on. Like, the only kind of relationship he has is with Dalinar, and that's minimal at best. So, like, him with other characters, not really exciting. As a threat, he's no longer much of a threat now to our main characters. As a character, I don't particularly understand him, and now at this point, I don't really care to understand him.
Damn.
I don't like him. That's okay. I'm at that point.
Apathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a 2-star for you. I would say 3. Do we meet in the middle at 2.5?
I can do that because I can agree with you with that. On books 1 and 2, he has that presence of, like, threatening presence. That was good.
Yeah.
Good villain presence.
So let's go above or below Odium. I think above Odium.
Sure.
He does more than Odium does, for sure. And better or worse than Elias Sadeas?
I guess better than...
Well, top of 2.5 stars, we'll go there.
Sure.
Okay. So Szeth, and we'll see by book 5 that changes, because I think, from your point of view especially, for my 2, I think he's like a 3-star character. I think he's fine and can grow.
Maybe the flashbacks really turn it around on me.
And yeah, with that, maybe he goes up to a 3.5, 4.
Sure.
Who knows?
Possible.
Next character we have is Lift, who I know is very controversial in the Stormlight Cosmere scene.
I don't know why. I like her. I like her a lot.
She's nice.
She's fun.
She is spunky.
She's got spunk. She's got what does she call it? She calls, like,
the power. No, she calls it
the special. Does she call it the special?
She eats a lot. I know she eats a lot. She has Wyndle by her side. Is it the magic? What she has this word for? What the hell?
She doesn't call it Stormlight. No. She calls it, like, the special, I thought.
Oh, is it the special? What does Lift call Stormlight? Let's see if it comes up right away, because she has dang, I'm not finding it right away.
Yeah. Anyway, she's enjoyable.
Yeah. Like she calls Wyndle the Voidbringer. Right, but she's
yes.
right. She's like, you Voidbringer. Like, okay.
She just is one of the more fun characters, and
Well, it does help that we both read Edge Dancer, which is entirely Liv's book, so we get a little bit more story with her.
sure.
Bottom of 3.5. I think she's good. Good fun.
I'd go top of 3.5 personally.
We got to go below Gavilar. I think Gavilar's a little bit more interesting than Lift.
Nah, because Lift still Lift does have potential with she has a mystery element of like what's with her and Harmony, like she stopped aging. Cultivation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay.
Cultivation going like, hey, what's going on with her? Like, there's another side of Stormlight and there's another side of Roshar that we haven't seen with the magic system that she's a big link to. She is the link along with Dalinar to like the witch or whoever what's the being that basically accepts wishes and wipe Dalinar's memory.
I think that's one of the
memory
made type things, or yeah.
So there's that connection. She also consumes Stormlight in a weird way. She doesn't.
A good argument. Good argument. Yeah.
She's got mystery going forward too.
I like her.
And she's fun.
3.5, top 3.5. I'm with you.
Okay.
Good argument. Yeah. Next character we have is Wyndle.
Bottom
Bottom of 3.
Bottom of 3.
Bottom of 3. Fine character. Doesn't do a ton.
Yeah.
I can't believe we have Wyndle above Szeth. That pisses me off. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'll let it go. Next character. This is someone that is... Okay, it's Renarin. Renarin is a character to me that I never expected much from. And the perfect amount of intrigue and mystery behind Renarin with given just enough about how strange... Oh, I'm wording this horribly, other than trying to say Renarin is fascinating, and I wish we got a whole book about him. Not in the same way we were talking about Szeth, of how I'm so interested in his backstory, but I hope you can at least agree with Renarin, where he's a character who there's not enough page time to dislike him, whereas maybe with Szeth, you dislike Szeth because we had a lot of page time and still don't get Szeth more, whereas Renarin, we get just enough to understand a little bit about who he is, but there's so much blank space about how he's connected with Odium and him being connected to a void spren, and just really interesting.
I agree with you. A part of frustration is maybe going, hey, it's been 4 books and we still don't know much of anything about him. It's a little frustrating of like how important he is. Like he's an important character and we barely get anything of him.
I heard, isn't he going to be a point of view in the latter 5 books?
I think so. Him
that
and
might
Jasnah.
Be why.
Yeah, it's possible.
But to me, so that frustrated you, not getting enough out of him?
It's very minor. It's very minor. It's just, these are long-ass books. They're very, very long books. I would feel like an important character such as him would get something, like more than what we got. But you're right, there isn't enough page time for me to like be really disappointed with him. Because the little that we got, he's interesting.
Well, I'd give him top of 3. Above Pursuer?
Sure.
For sure. Okay, yeah. Let's go. Man, Maya's... Okay, fine. Maya and Relaine we have in 3.5?
I felt more emotional pulls for them rather than Renarin. The only moment for Renarin is when Jasnah was contemplating killing him.
No, it wasn't there also a point with... I think he has several points with Dalinar where he's more of the neglected child, and Dalinar's relationship with Renarin and how he looks at how he was the Blackthorn and how he raised his kids and how they ended up turning out, where Adolin turned out to be this person who looked up to his father, and Renarin felt more outcast, but doesn't hate his father at all, but has this really interesting relationship with both Dalinar and Adolin, where he's not jealous of his brother, and he also looks up to his father, but is more coy. You can easily go into the brothers having spite against each other trope, and brother hates brother, jealous of how good this, but Renarin's got really this charming way of looking at things.
That's the point, though. There's not a lot of meat there to dig into his character. Maya at least pulled on my heartstrings more.
Renarin didn't? Just a bit?
Not really. There's not enough. Like, he's doing fine. He's okay. He's got a good relationship with Dalinar and good relationship with his brother. Yeah. He's doing fine. There's not a big emotional moment.
Give me bottom 3.5. Give me bottom.
I'll give you bottom.
Okay.
35.
All right, we'll take that. That's what you say to the phrase. Give me bottom. All right. Our next one is Azure.
Who is this?
Azure.
Oh, yes.
So no Cosmere spoilers,
no.
but Azure is in Kholinar.
Yes.
And she's fighting.
And yes, she's fighting.
She's doing
and
things.
she's got a shard blade, but not a spren and not your standard shard blade.
Yeah. Without getting the Cosmere spoilers, it's just there's more to this. If for the audience, we don't want to expand. But
And for my sake, I thought that Sanderson was shipping her hard with Kaladin.
you think so?
I thought when I was reading, I was going like,
Connection.
"Hey, look at that chemistry."
Yeah.
She's a fighting gal, and Kaladin, like they both respect each other. I thought I saw some sparks, and then did not go that direction. And
It sounds like a 3 to me. Just a flat 3.
she was neat when she was on screen.
Had a
On
presence
page.
to her.
She had presence. She had spunk.
I think less spunk than Lopen.
Less than Lopen. I
Yeah.
think more than Lopen, but less than Sigil.
Sigil, Lopen, right between there. I don't know. Lopen had some more fun lines. Azure was more, Azure to me was more Cosmere stuff.
Sure.
Azure to me, Lopen at least makes Bridge 4 seem more real. Does a little bit more with the fun.
You convinced me.
Okay, cool.
Above Wyndle.
Above Wyndle. There we go. Next one we have is a special one.
Jasnah.
Jasnah.
Yeah.
Jasnah. We are so fucking dumb. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. What the fuck's wrong? Okay, so Jasnah. Well, as soon as we get past, we've recorded part 1, then get into 2, just for the audience. As soon as we get to like the 2.5 hour mark of recording, all's out the window. We start talking about stutters
Weird
and
memes.
furries and just okay. Jasnah is great.
She's great.
She's great. And do you love her more than Navani great or less? Because I think the comparator to her is Navani and Jasnah have similar qualities, but are different characters in our remark. What do you think how would you compare the two characters?
I like her less than Navani because
Okay.
Jasnah seems like just a kind of complete character, and she's there.
Yeah.
And she's charming, interesting, but my interest is like waiting. I know like even next book, I know book 5 is not going to be much of a Jasnah book. Like she's going to be there. She's going to be kind of cool sometimes. She's going to have like a cool moment, but like as a character, I know she's for book 6 and on. It's fine. That's where we're going to get emotional development and all that. In these books, she's just kind of cool. That's it. Everyone else says like, yeah, Jasnah's cool.
She's the shit.
She's cool and collected. She's smart. She's smart, and also fight. She's cool. That's literally it. Every character's like, yeah, Jasnah's so cool, and also an atheist. That's basically her 2 things.
Well, Shallan, seeing her through Shallan's point of view in book 1 was really cool because we see this is Shallan so fish out of water. And then Jasnah is the person she looks up to. And it was essential in book 2 for Jasnah to be away so that Shallan could develop properly and have her great moments. But then what we have with Jasnah coming back, and it's weird because we have her for book 1, don't for book 2, and she's back in book 3, and then she becomes Empress, or Queen. So I agree with you. She's got that cool factor. I think it's enough to go 3-5 star. She's cool. I think she has a very good character, like a great character voice. Not the most intriguing, and now she's with Wit.
Yeah,
What's going on there?
it's a little weird.
It's strange. I would say bottom of 3-5, below Renarin.
Oh, I was gonna say top of 35.
Above Lift. I agree with you.
That's
Yeah.
like I'm just the
above
cool
Lift.
factor
Yeah.
brings her far enough.
Very
She's
clear.
cool in every book.
Let's do it. I like it.
I'm definitely not. I actually have fun with her on page.
Yeah.
So
I agree. So Jasnah 3-5. Next character is Nightblood, the sword.
I'm thinking top of 3 for an inanimate object. Fun character.
So we have Nightblood above Szeth,
Yes.
Odium, the Unmade, definitely above Venli, above the Pursuer. Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
The sword is better than all those characters.
Yes.
Actually,
The inanimate object is our.
maybe I like Szeth more because of Nightblood.
Yeah. You do.
Maybe.
You totally do.
Maybe that's why.
Szeth becomes a far more fun character on page because of Nightblood. And it's Nightblood's lines of like the fun sword going like, why are you such a drip, Szeth? Let me do cool stuff. And Szeth like going, no, you can't. And Nightblood going, no, man.
Darn. Freaking morality.
Imagine if Nightblood wasn't there and it was just Szeth. On his own on the page. How fucking dull would that be?
Not too dull for me.
Pretty bad.
I got our biggest disagreement on this list might be Szeth, and we only disagree by like margins on screen. So you're thinking he's 2. I just want him in 3, but I think we disagree more so on him being Book 5's point of view character. I can't wait. I can't wait to see his past, just because he doesn't. He's one of those characters where Lirin's motivation doesn't make sense. We see his character and he's counterintuitive, whereas Szeth. He's one of those mystery characters that has motivations that I don't fully understand. I'm not supposed to yet. Because I don't understand his culture yet. I don't understand where he came from. What is his backstory? That's what keeps me
Here's the nice thing is my bar's nice and low. It may come out where you'll be just disappointed. You'll come out of book 5 going,
man, Szeth.
Man, four long books to hyping this up. This was not that great. And I'll be like, hey, not bad.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty
He
good.
made sense.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, that's what I'm looking for too. So that's our Nightblood rating, 3-star.
Yes.
And
now the sword is better than Szeth. Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Good.
And now we have Zahel. No Cosmere stuff other than he is the little trainer. He's with the horses.
I kind of want to put him bottom of 3.5.
Top of 3, I'm thinking. I don't think he deserves the good tier. He is there. He's there with Azure. He's on that same tier. There's not too much to talk about him other than there's Cosmere stuff, but also he has a clear voice and...
Below Nightblood?
Yes, agreed. Let's go there. Because now we have a more fun character to talk about. Pattern.
I like Pattern a lot.
Pattern
I think Pattern is good to great on our scale. Somewhere there. Because of the Sprens, Pattern actually is not just completely... Like, most of these friends, like, this kind of relationship is really... Most of them have an open, honest relationship, and it's really... Like, hey, I'm supporting you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Pattern has a little bit more depth of, I have to lie to my own, bonded human, but this is for their good. And so, cool intrigue on also just the history of Pattern knowing that Shallan killed her previous Spren. And he's like, I choose to bond you anyway, even with the passing. So it makes Pattern far more of a heroic figure in the Spren world compared to someone like Syl, where Syl's like, she didn't really know about the death of Spren when she bonded Kaladin. Not really. Like, she was kind of ignorant, and then, she was kind of lost, her mental state. Then she joins.
Didn't she know originally, though, when she was in the...
she has her mind in Shadesmere.
But then she loses it in the new physical realm. But she made the choice.
She made the choice, but joining Kaladin, that's a good bet. Yeah. Like, she made the safest bet that you could make.
Pattern made a risk.
Oh, that's a hard
She
risk.
doesn't even know herself yet.
Doesn't know herself, and also, like, she has a pattern of killing previous Spren.
Yeah.
Is this the best one to choose? I don't know.
I'm with you. I even think great. I think below Raboniel, 4-star. Pattern.
Yes,
Pattern also
above
has
Jasnah.
Pattern has a fantastic character voice too. Or is that line of dividing by 0? It's like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Like dividing by 0, and just the way Pattern thought process about math and patterns, and
liking lies and just like yummy lies.
Yeah, just a great on-screen presence. Again, we can say on-page presence.
Yeah.
Next character is Teft.
Sad boy.
I'm going to make a ridiculous claim here that you're going to disagree with, but I think Teft, I won't say 5, I might, but 4 or 5. I think Teft, for me, is one of those characters that even books 1, 2... You know what? I'll take that back. I'll say 4 or 5. I'll say 4 or 5, bottom of 4 or 5 or so, because for books 1 and 2, good, and had a good relationship with Teft, and finding out a little bit about him made Bridge 4 seem more real. But obviously the moment that we all know Teft from is when he has that little point of view chapter of him saying, "I will protect those that I hate the most, even if it's myself." And then you see the alcoholism he goes through. And I think the most impressive thing about Teft is we get so little of him.
And yet know him the most. We know him the best out of all Bridge 4 members.
I'd say even Rock. Even Rock, we understand him more. And I think for that alone, that deserves a lot of credit. And I think the other thing is Book 4, his arc is done by Book 4. And so his death doesn't leave you with that Elokar sadness of, there was more he could have done. It's more so what that does to Cal. And so Teft's death, his arc is finished. He doesn't need any more.
Oh, yeah, Book 4, you read pretty early on. You're like, oh,
Teft's not making it.
Teft.
Yeah, he's not making it. But Teft as a character is spectacular to me. What do you think?
I'm between 4 and 4.5.
Give me 4 or 5.
Are we going to put him above Shallan?
Yeah, I think so. Because Shallan has more pits. And Teft has that shining moment for the story. And
I'll give you 4 or 5 if you put him just above Rock.
Below Navani?
Below Navani.
I will take that. Because I think of Bridge 4, I'd go Kaladin, Teft. Rock. Sure. Those are your 3.
Okay.
So I will totally do that. Okay. We got Teft at 4.5 stars. And now we have Tien. What do you think about Tien, Rich?
2.5? Like, yeah. I don't even think he's much of a character. Really. He's as far as he's a frid, he's fridged. That's all he is. It's like, hey, what if we made a character that's just perfectly innocent and good and just like all, sugar and spice and everything nice. And it's dead. And that makes the brother real sad. Like, there's not much to him other than he was so pure, he was so innocent, he was so good. And now he's dead.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Below Mraize, because Mraize is more interesting than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, Tien's only there for Cal.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's just, he's not, that's much of a character. That's
right.
A plot device.
100%.
But like the most plot device character out of all of these.
1,000%.
Yeah.
But again, nothing wrong with him. It's just not doing anything spectacular.
Yeah, like I liked Dalinar's dead wife more than him.
Yeah.
Like, she's not just a plot device.
Do you remember her name?
No.
It starts with an E.
Ellie?
Evi. Very close. EVI. Evi,
whatever.
Yeah.
No, she had personality. She felt like a real character, and then she died. But still, she's fridged in the story, but not as bad as Tien.
Right. And it's hard because Tien's a kid, too. So how much personality can you give a kid that's not a main point of view, that's through Kaladin's eyes?
Yeah.
But again, Sanderson's not going for anything crazy with Tien.
Yeah.
Next character is Tien. Tyn. Do you remember who Tien is? It's going to be tough.
Is this a woman?
Yes.
Is this the new Bridge 4 member in Book 4?
Nope. This character, I believe, was only in Book 2 and was important in Shallan's story in Book 2. And
is this the woman that Shallan kills?
Yes! You got it.
Ah, yes.
You got it. Yes.
I'm thinking bottom 3 type deal. Like, nothing wrong with her. She served a purpose.
She's clear in my head when I think back to her, as you as well, right? You remember her presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, bottom 3.
Bottom 3.
That's very fair. Because now we
better
have...
than Szeth.
That still pisses me off. He deserves 3, and you will rue this day.
No.
You will rue this day. Okay.
He's lucky to be at 2.5.
I think this is weird because I think Szeth is our biggest disagreement. The rest we're fairly consistent on what we think of everybody else. I think we didn't have another big disagreement.
Not really.
So far. But maybe this next one, because I think very highly of this character, Sebarial.
Who?
I guess we're going to...
I actually do remember.
You remember Sebarial?
The high prince that actually it is shown to be very selfish and indulgent, but actually has a bit of a heart.
Yes.
And his wife is not a wife, but like...
They're not married, but they have a great relationship.
Somehow.
It works.
Like, basically she's supposed to just be the concubine of him.
Kind of like a Paul Atreides type thing. Or not Paul Atreides. Yeah, like a Paul/Jessica type of thing.
Yeah.
Where,
A Jessica Atreides too.
Yeah.
A bit different where, like, for them, it was, we do love each other. It is exclusive, but for political reasons, can't put a label on it.
Oh, no, true.
For them, it's more, they kind of both aren't admitting that they do love each other. So it's weird. It's still funny.
Yeah.
So, he's a good character.
I would put in 3-5. I think good character, very clear, and I think that belief versus conviction that you touched on, exactly why I like him a lot. He says seems one way, but actually,
when the chips are down,
there for you, he's the one that supports Dalinar. There's a couple others, but
below Gavilar,
below Gavilar, I would say above Gavilar and Todium, and Lift. I would say right below Jasnah and right above Lift.
Fair enough.
Very clear character. And I put Sebarial right next to this next one, which is the other High Princes, ranking them. So this is not Sadeas, not Dalinar, and not Sebarial, because I think those three had the most personality. All the rest of them, I think some of them were like, one started with a V, the other one Adar, and the other groups of High Princes that kind of had one note to each of them. Roy.
My thought is 2.5. Just overall kind of disappointing.
Would very much agree. Would like a little bit more intrigue with some of them, especially with some page. Yeah, totally agree.
Because I think Sanderson has the ability to, like, in a page, in a line, give these characters substance of something like, that's that character.
To be fair,
none of them have that.
To be fair, was it End of Words of Radiance where one of them sacrificed themselves in battle? And it was a pretty touching moment at the time where I think it was Royan or not Vama, one of them. I forget the name. I'm not good with names. That's my fault, not Sanderson's fault.
Yeah,
for forgetting the name. But those kind of that character that made the heroic sacrifice, I think there was enough there. But just as a general group, top of 2.5.
Yeah,
they could have done a little bit more. But yes, we'll go other High Princes, top of 2.5, and now we're getting into.
Oh, so better than Szeth? Good.
Damn it.
I wouldn't even agree with that, but okay.
Want to switch?
No, I'm glad. I'm happy.
What am I doing? I had the mouse. I just switched it. The next one we have is Honor. The god Honor. Zuko would say Honor.
Top of 3, maybe? Bottom of 3.5?
The tough thing is Honor's very much world building. Again, one of those characters that is more world building than a character. But I would say we have Odium right there in the 2.5. I would say right next to Odium because both of the gods' presence are very similarly there for the threat level. Like I would even say if we were ranking Lord of the Rings characters, Sauron would be
at least have some personality, I guess, to it.
How so?
I don't know, just Honor's chats with Dalinar and Kaladin seem interesting. Like you see the shadow of what Honor used to be.
Of what Honor was.
And there's almost a tragedy there of you see what like Honor now is almost machine-like of so much of a shell of what he used to be.
It's tragic. Is that Nohadon or Honor speaking to Dalinar in book 1 and onward?
It's Honor.
Is it? It is Honor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean then, because if that's Honor speaking, I'm trying to remember some of the exchanges. It's tough for me to remember, but I will tend to believe you. I think I liked it at the time of reading it.
Yeah, I think it's at least better than Odium.
Okay. You want to go up to bottom of 3?
I think so. Better than Szeth.
Yeah, every single time. I will go Honor 3 stars. And now we're getting into the character that I think I got the biggest bamboozle ever with this character, Kabsal. If you remember Kabsal, do you remember Kabsal?
No.
Kabsal was the priest person in book 1 that Shallan was falling in love with, and that had a little bit of a rendezvous of Kabsal was just there to poison.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was the biggest twist for me of going like, this Kabsal person's integral to Shallan's plotline. And then me knowing that this was a big epic series with books 1 through, how many, all 4 books were out when I started Way of Kings, going, ooh, Kabsal, what's this person? And then ends up being that book one kind of one-off. Can't remember him that much. He was there, and I think he definitely deserves a 2-star.
I'm with you.
I think he goes...
We don't have enough 2s and 1.5s.
below the Unmade.
Good. You know what? Why not put him below Moash?
Because Kabsal...
Makes sense.
Yeah, he makes more sense than Moash does. I think Moash were a bit frustrated with, especially how much he's been in the books.
Yeah.
Now we've got Gaz.
Who?
Oh, you gotta remember Gaz.
Is Gaz the boat guy in
Boat guy. No, Gaz is Kaladin's, when he's going to the bridges, Gaz is the leader, getting him in there. Of the leader of the Kremlins.
Gotcha.
By Kremlins, I just mean of the low...
the slave master, basically, of the bridge runners.
He had a great... I should rephrase that word. I think he had a very on presence, very realized. I understood him. I could picture the Gaz character, and it was kind of cool to see him in the next book. Was it book 2 where he was not retreating? What's the word where you leave an army? Not retreating, but you are not a traitor, but an abandoner, help me out, Rich. You have the word in your head and you're just being so mean. You're looking at me and you're just not saying it.
Yeah.
What is it? An abandoner, a leaver, a cheater, a leaver, somebody that defects, a defector. I got there. A defector.
You know, it's always wonderful to defeat your enemy when you don't have to say a thing. Just let them talk.
just let them blabber themselves to death. Oh,
yeah,
God.
Just I don't even have to
make me look stupid. Thanks.
Yeah. That's for the furry thing.
All right, so when we're talking about Gaz,
yeah, I think he's a genuinely good character.
I think so too, and he goes from that. He's your mini antagonist, not going to be that big and important to the story, but adds to Kaladin's obstacles and gives some good moments for others.
Fully realized and definitely makes you hate him. Like you're rooting against him. I don't know.
Let's
fully realized.
Let's go Gaz in the above Todium, below Lift.
Above Gavilar, huh?
You're right, below Gavilar. Above Hasina, though.
Yes.
Okay. Very well. Very well. Right now, our 3-5 is the most chonky territory here. Maybe we should look at getting some 4s next.
Okay.
Our next one... Ooh, not going to do it. Leshwi.
Name is familiar. What is that?
The Parshendi, Leshwi, evil. I think it was the Pursuer in Leshwi. Leshwi is one of the...
Oh, okay.
It was Pursuer was bad... Leshwi was bad. Raboniel bad, but with Navani. It was one of the bads.
One of the bad ones?
Fuck me, I don't remember that much, Rich. I'm not gonna lie. You said, you looked at me and said, who's Leshwi? I was like, oh, I could fucking fake this, right? Oh, Leshwi was,
she was one of the bad ones?
She was on the other side.
Sanderson, you have too many characters in your books, please.
So
please
many.
Please stop.
Because we can't remember much. Now, this is no fault to Leshwi. This is to our small pea brains. Let's go indiscriminately bottom of 3 because Leshwi could be great or could be bad.
No, non-memorable. So
below Szeth.
Below Szeth.
Yes.
Maybe above Szeth.
Right below Szeth. Before we go into the Stormfather.
Oh, was I confusing Honor and Stormfather? Because I thought...
You might have been, because I was thinking about the conversations with Nohadon, and when Nohadon and...
I think I'm just wrong, then. I thought the Stormfather...
So you gaslit me.
I thought Stormfather is the shell of what Honor was.
Well, no, Honor's dead.
Yeah, Honor's dead.
Honor's dead. Stormfather's separate than Honor.
Completely separate?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Uh-oh. Here we are, looking like a... bunch of idiots.
Let's definitely put Honor next to Odium then, and put Stormfather where Honor was. Fair. Oh no, Stormfather should go higher because when you were saying originally when Honor and Dalinar were having conversations, I was thinking of those conversations with like when he was going into the flashbacks, when Nohadon was talking, or not when he was watching the past people talk. Mm-hmm. I thought you were saying like Honor was speaking through them. that kind of thing. But I don't think that was, he was just watching scenes that would happen. And
Yes.
the Stormfather was conducting all of that. Stormfather, I think, definitely deserves higher than that. Stormfather is more interesting than
Most of those characters, maybe
with Nightblood somewhere.
I think maybe below Nightblood, because
Let's do
Nightblood
that.
has a bit more fun.
Yeah, they're both the inanimate kind of. One's a sword. One is this presence.
A storm.
It's literal storm. Yes, let's go with that. Nightblood, Stormfather, in 3-star. And now we've just got a couple more here, and ending on. I think this character. I'm more curious because this might be a big disagreement. Amaram. What do you think about Amaram?
I mean,
We might not disagree. Because
I don't love him as a villain, really. I don't think he makes a ton of sense. It's just kind of, he's pretty bad, and that's about it.
Yeah, I thought you'd like him more.
No.
Because I thought we would disagree and you'd argue for him being a good character. He's one of those villains that I thought you would have initially liked him more because Kaladin and Amaram, and for Kaladin's motivation and him being a good antagonist to him. But to me,
I don't even think he's that good of an antagonist.
I agree.
He doesn't challenge Kaladin in much of any way. It's just Amaram being just a villain. It's like, hey, I know this person helped me out, saved my life, and also gave me new shard plate, but because maybe there's a 1% chance that the person will have a claim, like come back and say, actually, that was my shard plate. It's like, I'm just going to kill him and all of his friends and make him a slave. And then not even that, just kills all his friends, the whole crew. It's like, because you saved me, I'm going to be merciful and only make you a slave and not kill you. If you're going to do the job, do it all the way. It's a weird half measure of he's killing all Kaladin's friends. But like, oh, I'm being merciful. I'm going to make you only a slave. If you're going to do the job, just kill him too.
As a larger
it's kind of dumb.
As a larger meta point, would you agree that I think Sanderson is the best? He's at his best when having great people you can root for and his heroes. You got your Kaladin, Dalinar, even Shallan, and all Adolin. Our 5-star characters are Dalinar, Adolin, Kaladin, Syl, Elokar. All of those characters are good-hearted and people you can root for. I don't think Sanderson's ever thrown you a villain. Now, caveat, Taravangian at a 4-5-star that we have up there is the exception to the rule, where Taravangian, I think, is, as we put him up there, all the reasons we gave last episode, but with Amaram, with Moash, with who else we have down here? Odium, all of his big Mraze, who's got some villainy. All these villains and antagonists are generally harder for an author to make super compelling, but it's not Sanderson's strong suit. I don't think Amaram is out here being a super. Again, going back to even Sadeas, where you had your complaints to Sadeas of him having the falling off at the end, kind of turning cartoony toward the end.
Yeah.
To where I think Sanderson makes great and compelling heroes, and then the villains like Amaram, they're there. And I think that puts him, honestly, for as much as he's there, 2-star.
I'd agree.
And top a 2-star because he does more than Kabsal and the Unmade. But he's very much for everything he's there for, again, is to serve Kaladin's motivation.
Yeah.
So,
and just as a character himself, it's kind of, he's such a cartoonish villain of how evil his actions were. But I guess it's supposed to be, hey, he's an example of the nobility. Like, all the nobility would do this, but he's seen as like, oh, Amaram is actually such a upstanding noble, and Dalinar vouches for him. It's just like, I don't know. I don't get why he's so honorable and good in all these other aspects, but then in secret, it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll stick him there. And with Sanderson, you've read more of his books? Does he make compelling villains in other books? Don't tell me which, but is this a pattern where he's the best and amazing at making heroes, but then when it comes to your Amarams, your Moashes, your Odiums,
for the most part,
yeah. Which is why I really love Taravangian in this book, because it's the one antagonist that I'm so glad he's now Odium, because that's the one I was most invested in his motivation. So that is great. Next we have is Cultivation. And I think easy enough we put cultivation with honor and odium.
Sure.
All three of these gods have their
above, because at least there's
intrigue.
mystery there. The other two, like especially odium, I don't. I think we know enough.
Yeah.
Bad, evil. Okay. Honor. Good. Yes. Honor. Nice. Cultivation's like, okay, there's some mystery of what's going on with cultivation. Why is cultivation out of it? What's her deal with lift? Things like that.
So maybe this says something about yourself and characters. Whereas evil characters that are just evil for evil's sake, they're fine.
They can be, unless if they're charming. Like
if they've got a presence.
Hey, are they present? Are like a just pure evil character that's just commands the page? Yeah, give me 5. I'll love it.
Yeah.
But if they're not commanding the page, so they're not charming, they don't have that swagger, but also they're not really interesting to learn more about.
Right.
Like, well, then why are they there?
Yeah, if they're not there for being the word fun in a good way for a villain. So if you're having a comedic relief hero or a side character, they're only there for the laugh.
Yeah.
If your villain is there as an unstoppable force, but you want them to actually be an unstoppable force, they've got to have something to where they're threatening on the page, or they're so conniving and twisted. Something that makes them just the opposite of that sidekick with the hero who's fun, helping that scene have more comic relief. The villain is helping to make that page more tense. They're there for a certain emotion. If you're not pulling off that emotion, what are you there for? Come on. Give me Teravangian, who's more interesting, or Cultivation, who more mysterious. At least you have that going for it. Yeah. So I totally agree. Our next one we have is Design, who is the spren for wit.
Wit has a spren?
Fuck me, Rich. This is gonna be you're gonna have to reread. We're gonna reread together books 1 through 4.
I think I may have to reread
before book 5. Design was here's one scene.
Yeah.
One scene to remind you is when the dog and the dragon chapter in Rhythm of War, with Cal being explained to Wit the story of the scales, and then the dog went and did this and was trying to be a dragon, and then Design comes in and kind of spoils the ending and is like, oh yes, and it's like because the dog can, and then Wit's frustrated at Design, like, oh, you spoiled it again, like that kind of scene to Design.
Well, I completely forgot that.
We're gonna go bottom of 2.5 below Tien, because I think I also agree. I just felt like I had to put Design in there because I put Pattern and Syl, the other sprint, so I felt like Design would have felt left out.
To be fair, that's one scene out of 4 big chonker books.
You know, I felt it was necessary.
Good.
With all my heart.
I'm just saying I don't feel that bad not remembering it.
No, not at all. No.
So
I think there's a little more scenes. But
how many years has it been since I read that book?
Oh, for Rhythm of War? Not too long. 2 years. 2 years. Maybe 2 years. I think we read it. I forget.
I think so.
Something.
No, I read it earlier than you. I tried waiting for you, and then that just wasn't happening. I waited for over a year.
So you might have done 2 years ago, I did it a year ago, something like that.
Something like that.
We've got 4 more, Rich.
Okay.
As you were saying before, Evi Kholin, having that person, Dalinar's wife, had way more personality than Tien did to Kaladin. I think Evi even had a 3.5 worthy good character for her page time.
Because I wanted more from her. I miss not getting page time with her. She seemed like she would be really interesting and a cool dynamic with Dalinar. Yeah. I think that's a lot of it. I think she's a good character, especially because of that. I want more.
Right. And kind of this character who's taken from another foreign land and forced into this situation, but also escaping from this foreign land because what was the story back there? They took the shards, something that happened up in the area in the Northwest, something there. Washington, Oregon section. If we're talking U.S. terms, they were in the fucking
from Montana.
They were nowhere America. The person when an election,
Evi Kholin from Montana.
When an election happens, they just fly right over your state. Evi was from there. Okay.
Oh, your state has concerns and questions. No,
fuck that. Just fly over states, as they say.
Yes.
To get to Evi was there. And then she came to the big boss, New York. She was like, oh my goodness. And then that Jay-Z song came in. And then something about Miley Cyrus and like the Jay-Z song was on. Wait, is that LA?
That's the wrong,
Jay-Z
the wrong guy
Put
talking
my
about.
hands up, play my song, don't find a way, move my head like that. She went to LA, not New York. So,
Good.
with all that being said, 3-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a good character, and it was very interesting. Below Renarin.
Below Renarin.
Below Renarin, I think bottom of 3-5, especially with her kind of circumnavigating that the intriguing part with Dalinar and Evi being from this different culture and still turning out to be a great mother where she could resent Dalinar. And I like that Sanderson kind of leans into these things that are unusual and usually can create more tension. Whereas, hey, Navani and Dalinar being together could create more tension with, ooh, your brother's dead. You're with your brother's widow.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like, and then it's kind of wiped off as like, no, he was a bad guy, and he goes to other more tense things. I like that he does that with Evi as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we've got Queen Fen, the eyebrows.
Yes, I think just below Nightblood.
Oh come on, above Stormfather too? Below Stormfather, above
No.
Zahel.
Fine.
Give it that.
Fine.
Queen Fen, she's there.
Yeah.
And I think Queen Fen has a couple scenes with Dalinar trying to convince when he's going to Azure, when he's going to...
And her making great points of, no, Blackthorn, you're terrifying. Why would I work with you?
Go away.
Go away, please.
Yeah.
You've murdered so many people. Why the hell would I trust you for anything?
So she makes sense.
Yeah.
Now we have Aesudan and Gavinor, which is Elokar's wife and kid.
Okay.
Aesudan.
The kid is giving me real, like, I got flags. Book 4,
Red flags?
a little bit, like, story flags.
Story flags.
Like, my personal theory that Gavinor is going to be Odium's champion in Book 5.
Yes. Yep.
So I think there's going to be something there. I'm actually curious about his character. Now, the crazy wife. Sounds like she was going insane from something.
I'll give you full control over where you want these two characters. Whatever you say, they will go there.
Below Stormfather.
Below Stormfather. Okay, so still in the 3-star territory where...
I'm curious about Gavinor.
Got it.
And whatever name.
Aesudan. Yeah.
Aesudafen.
Was crazy.
Yes. Aesudafen. Yeah, she was crazy.
I do like that. The Gavinor theory is interesting. We'll see how it plays out in Book 5. Mm-hmm. But before we end this episode off, we have one last one. The Heralds. And I'm putting them all in one, like Tone. And every single one. Kalak. All the Heralds into
Shallan's mother. Yeah.
Shallan's mother.
Yeah.
Shayla, Chanakria. The Chanakra. What? Sanderson,
please.
What are you reading? A high fantasy, or he's writing a high fantasy or something, making it so confusing. I think that the Heralds are top of 3-star, where we get some information from some of them. Like we find out a little bit about Town and how he's gone mad, and Ishar screwing around with the Spren. Right? I believe that's Ishar doing so. And so enough of a presence. They are threatening. They're there. For world stuff, 5 stars, but for characters, let's leave it there.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's not much to say negative or positive about their characters specifically. They're just very plot important.
Exactly. And guys, everybody listening, we are...
Sorry we butchered the names.
We butchered the names.
No, sorry. I'm not sorry. Names are hard. You can be forgiving. It's okay. You can have some grace and understand that we struggle with names.
We hope that this tier list ended up, I think, perfect, Rich.
It is perfect.
Other than a couple things, we have our disagreements.
Szeth could be a little lower.
And you know who could also be lower? Let's make add a row below. And Liren is now... Liren. Seriously. There we go. Liren is now Not even on the screen when we go up to 5, which is what I want to
Good.
see.
Yes.
So
not on screen.
Lirin's on the bottom.
I like it even more that he's part of the categories, but not on the screen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you scroll up a little
and
bit.
then he's gone.
On the 5 to Lirin scale, Lirin is not on the scale.
Even on the 5 to Lirin, seriously, you messed up. Lirin is still not there.
No.
And then when you go to the Lirin, seriously, Lirin is finally there.
Why don't you just remove Lirin? Just get him off this.
I can't. He's permanent.
Delete him.
How?
Delete him off him.
Delete row somehow? Can I delete this row? He's gone!
There!
Ah,
Good. He doesn't deserve to be on the scale.
And according to Rich and I, the best characters in order our 5-5-star characters are Dalinar, Adolin, Kaladin, Syl, and Elokar. And we have our other spectacular characters like Hoyd, the Wit, Taravangian, Navani, Teft, and Rock, Shallan, and the others close behind. I think that's pretty fair, Rich.
Perfect list. I think we should be very proud, and we should be confident enough for Sanderson to look at this. Sanderson should see this and judge us for it.
Actually, if you're not sending this video to Sanderson, you're doing a disservice for society.
Yeah.
I would hate if Sanderson's first video of us he watched was us talking about furries.
And send him the clip of like, that sucks. Hey, I'm not interested at all.
Lirin's so awfully written. What the fuck is Sanderson doing, bro? What the fuck is he talking? Just a compilation of our favorite writer.
Yeah.
Us trashing the characters we don't like in this. In my favorite series. That's another Ramble video.
Yeah.
See y'all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.